Have I been manipulative and preyed on certain things?
Yeah,
Yes, because I'm
totally.
a man.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Today is Sunday, September 22nd, 2024. You are now watching Permission to Exist. I am your host, Permission to Exist, also known as PTE. And tonight we are continuing in our Sick and Dangerous series, Sick and Dangerous Men series, with probably what I would consider to be one of the most disturbing installments of this show, because it's so in your face and it so very much highlights and illustrates the mental illness that is present in men like these. And it's using what some would consider to be one of their favorite male celebrities, who is Nick Cannon. I'll get into my thoughts about him a little bit later on. But before I do all that, welcome everyone. Hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you to those of you who show your love in any meaningful way, be that Cash App, Patreon, super chatting, liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. And also big shout out to my channel members. Have been forgetting to shout you guys out recently, but I do have some channel members. So thank you all for being members of the channel. Every little bit helps and helps get these messages out, okay? So the last time that we did a show like this was September of last year, so September of 2023. So it's been almost approximately 1 year since I did one of these, which is crazy. Time just flies in general, but it really does fly when you're a content creator. And a lot has happened in that year. So, like I do with every single one of these installments, I'm going to play a clip that highlights some major news stories that have happened to women and children at the hands of men since we last met. And this is not every story, these are just the stories that came across my timeline, okay? I do want to do a trigger warning. I think I do one of those every time, but if not, I definitely want to do a trigger warning simply because it's just so sad. And as you're watching these clips go by, really process what you're looking at and what's happening. These are real stories happening to real women and children at the hands of their violent male partner. And sometimes it's not even their partner. Sometimes it's a guy they just met, some random guy, a stranger, an ex. It's crazy. It's crazy that this is even a thing. And it's crazy that this clip is even as long as it is. Okay. So, welcome everyone. I'm going to play this clip for you. And again, the purpose of this clip is to remind us all why we're here and why we are doing this series. It's so serious and it's very, very important. And I need everyone to remember that. So I'm going to play that clip and then we'll be back. Okay, we're back. So I know that was a little hard to watch, but it's important. And to date, this is the longest clip like this I have ever done. Now, granted, it has been 1 year, but still, that's really no excuse, you guys. You would hope that in a year, maybe one or two stories came out. But In a year, I lost count. I think that was what, 30 different stories. And those are just the ones that I saw. And in real life, there shouldn't be any stories at all, but there's at least 30 that I've gathered over the past year since we did the show the last time, of violence against women and children at the hands of a male, be that a partner, a stranger, co-worker, whomever. And it's really got me a little bit worried, you guys. It has me worried because it makes me feel like women and children are simply not safe in the presence of men. It really is starting to make me feel that way, because I look at these pictures and I look at all these women and I'm thinking, I'm sure all of them at some point in time felt safe around that partner, or that boyfriend, or that husband. And the whole entire, or son, there was one in there of a son who had attacked his mother. So I'm sure all these women felt safe at some point in time, up until they weren't. So it's almost like we are dealing with ticking time bombs. And that's frightening to me. That's kind of scary, that you could have someone in your house who just hasn't hurt you yet, that you don't know what it's going to take to set him off. You don't know what's going to be his breaking point. The ones who claim that they're so emotionally stable and rational, yet can be set off and take the whole entire family out. I was watching a true crime show last night of this guy. He had spent 20 years in jail. Then he got out because his sentence was complete. He had a tough time finding a job, so therefore a tough time finding a place to live and all that. So his sister took him in, right? And let him live with her while he was trying to get back on his feet. Long story short, he got mad one night because they ate all the food. So I'm guessing the sister prepared the meal for the family. And by the time he got down there to go eat, all the food was gone. And that sent him over the edge, because he felt like they should be making sure he eats too. And he said that he felt like they were treating him like a second class citizen and all these other things that really screamed entitlement. But he literally took the whole family out, his sister, her boyfriend, her son, her dad, and he didn't take the little girl out. He actually said he didn't want her to pass away. So he shot her like in the leg or something. Well, thanks. Thanks so much for your kindness and your consideration. But everyone else he took out because they ate all the food. Now, here's a man who spent 20 years in jail, got out. He had one family member willing to help him, but because they weren't helping him in the way that he deemed appropriate, he took them all out. That was his solution. And he even told the cops, he said, y'all never should have let me out. I don't belong on the streets. I belong in the box. That's what he said to the cop. So again, going back to my original sentiment, I'm sure his sister felt safe enough around her own brother to let him live in her house while he got back on his feet, because basically he had nowhere to go, which was a kind and generous thing for her to do all by itself. And he repaid her by taking her and her whole family out except her daughter because they didn't leave enough food for him. So you got to wonder, what are we actually dealing with here? What are we dealing with? And I think the deeper answer to that question I could do on my other channel, which is called A Deeper PTE, link in the description box. But let me continue. So currently, and perhaps always, our society has been cultivating the worst of men, and it has been honoring and celebrating the worst aspects of their behavior. And it is allowing them to survive and prosper in spite of holding on to and acting upon these dangerous and non-productive belief systems. So, in other words, if this really were the jungle, they would not survive because their belief systems would take them out. Basically, they would get themselves killed, basically. But currently, our society enables these men to survive in spite of holding these dangerous, non-productive belief systems. And how do you say PTE? How? Well, we provide them jobs, cars, housing, food, all of the things. So they're allowed to live in spite of really truly being against life itself. Versus if you had to try to do that in a true communal society out in the wilderness, they would probably kick you out because you're something is wrong with you. You're dangerous and you're a threat to society. So you have to be removed from the group, which we do still do. We put them in jail, but that's still a form of protection. You go out, you commit these heinous acts, they lock you up, they give you a box, 3 hots and a cot. So you're still safe until you pass away from old age or whatever. So there's nothing acting against these belief systems to keep them contained or to stop them from growing. Okay. So that actually brings us to the point of our show today. So today, we are going to look at a clip from none other than Nick Cannon. Most of you know who Nick is. He starred in several movies, TV shows. He was he married to Mariah Carey or were they just dating? I think they were married at one point, right? Either way, he was with Mariah Carey, made twins with her. So that's Nick Cannon. So he is a famous and widely celebrated male I don't know what just happened. So I'm going to end this live stream and start another one. So tune back in like 5 minutes while I get that set up. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to end this one. I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay.